people? Newbie back again. Today, we've made some progress. Maybe not as good as I had hoped, but it's progress. Now, before I get into it, thanks for watching, and hit that little button down there if you want to subscribe. Please do. And anyway, today, well, last week, I was putting down plaster. Let me just say a little something about my philosophy here. What I'm trying to accomplish is, of course, I want to build a in-scale model railroad. But what I want to accomplish is to determine what it's going to look like at the end of the whole process. And so I take some shortcuts. I want to conceptualize, if you will, what I want the final result to be. And in doing that, I may not actually obtain the final result while I'm doing it. Now you're saying, what are you trying to say? That just a bunch of gobbledygook. Is it gobbledygook? Whatever. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I built out the layout using plaster cloth. And plaster cloth is cheap and it's easy to install. And you can form it to look sort of like what the final will look like. It is not my final plan to have that plaster cloth being the final exterior surface. I'm going to go back over that with plaster, and then I'm going to go back, then I'm going to add either rock moldings or something to maybe do some plaster carving to make it look like rocks. So what I finished in the last episode, when I got all that plaster cloth on all those hillsides and cliffs and stuff, that's not going to be the final. But having said that, as I was looking at that, I said to myself, self, I wonder if in fact that is going to be what we're looking for in the very end. So I decided to see if from a conceptual standpoint, to see what that was going to look like. So I painted it. And that's the step that should not have happened yet. I should go back, I should put the plaster on it, I should put rock moldings on it, and finalize it. But I didn't want to do that yet. That's going to take me a long time, and I want to play with the trains. And so I decided I was just going to go ahead and make it look okay, if you will, and finish doing what the total layout is eventually, hopefully, going to be. But for right now, I'm just taking a shortcut and painting that plaster cloth. Now, on the camera, it looks okay, but when you get up close to it, you can see that plaster cloth is not solid. It's got little bitty holes in it, and so, but that's fine, because I'll come back over that and we'll finalize that. Now, so first thing I did, I took out some paint and I started painting. Take a look. Here's our first attempt at adding color, and this what I used. I took some burnt umber acrylic and watered it down real thin, and basically just made a quick wash and slapped it on mostly the vertical areas. It's actually a little darker than what I think I really wanted, I'm having second thoughts now that maybe I should have done it in a lighter color first and then come back with a darker later. I don't know. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but for now, you know, this is where we are. I like the looks of it, but I guess we'll see. I'm going to come back with a couple other lighter colors. I'm going to try some gray and then maybe, you know, some, I don't know, some brown and some gray or whatever, and see how it comes back after this dries. This sets up for a while. It was way too dark. I got to thinking about that about halfway through that process, and I says to myself again, I said, self, you should have done this a light color first and just use the darker color to come in and fill in the crevices and cracks and stuff like that later on. But I didn't do that. I didn't even think about it until I was halfway through with that first coat. So here's where we went from there. Here we are with another layer, paint that is. I went in and I hit it with some brown, some dark brown, and went over it and basically in spots. And I'm not sure you can pick up any difference on the camera, but the brown seemed to have a tendency to fill where there was white before, still showing through a little bit, and so I'm thinking it's looking okay. Now we moved up into the mountain area, and you see, I think it's looking okay. My plan is to come back through with some lighter colors now, maybe a couple of different shades of gray, and just hit some highlights with gray in various areas. And then I said, okay, well, let's try a little more. Let's go in and do some more color shading, and so I did some more. Did another layer of coloring. Actually added a little, they call it yellow, but it looked a little more orange to me, and just dry brush some in there to add a little color, to try to lighten things up a little bit. And I'm still not real pleased with it, but you know, the bottom line to it is that I'm going to be doing some rock formations on all of this anyway, And so this is all more or less just so that I can get some color on the layout, so that I can progress. I'm going to have to come back to most of these areas and do a little extra work with them anyway, but for now this is what I've got, and it's just going to have to do. I might try a little brown. I don't know. I'm just playing. It's still a little too dark for my taste. I wish I had done a light brown first and then come back with a darker. But hey. So now I went in and I just was waiting for that paint to dry, and I thought, okay, I've got some places to cover, to add in some more of that drywall compound. Remember I said that the paint was eating away when I did it directly on the foam, so I went in I did some more drywall compounding. A crack had developed on that near ground bridge between where the bridge connects to the, and so I needed to redo that surface, and oh yeah, the area for the bridge over by the brewery, that bridge going up there, I needed to finish that, and I needed to finish the drywall compound going on up the hill, and so I did all that. And along with that, I got to thinking, well, if we're gonna look at what's going on, we need to determine what we're going to do about sidewalks and that. And I think what I've decided to do, I've decided to use thin strips of polystyrene, and I've got some that I think is 1/2 mil or something like that. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to paint that gray or maybe an off-white or something like that, and use that and see if that works as the sidewalks. And so I'm going to get to that, but I went ahead and I did a little gray painting just for effect, and I thought, well, you really need to see what the whole thing is going to look like. So, well, and then the other thing too is I wanted to paint, or I wanted to put the lines, finish the lines on the streets. I want to do the crosswalks and then the stop bars and the parking markings for the parking spaces along the streets and parking spaces in the parking lot areas, and you know, that stuff. Well, the ultrafine, the 1/32 wide white tape still has not arrived, and so I'm still waiting for that. But I thought, well, I need to figure out where those parking spaces are going to be. Like, for example, on the main street, I got an alley that'll go in into behind the city hall there, and I need to know exactly where that alley is going to be, and so I got to put the buildings back on to figure that out. So I might as well go ahead and do that. So I did that. But when I was looking at that, I thought, okay, well, you know, since I still can't do those parking places and everything else, I wonder where the grass areas are going to be. And in town, there's not going to be very much, but I thought it would be neat to have a little grass area in front of the courthouse or the city hall. And then I thought, okay, well, let me get some green paint and just paint where I think grass is going to go. And you probably know me by now. I couldn't stop with just a little bit. I just started looking all over for where grass is going to be, and I just started painting grass. And the next thing I know, we've got grass area defined all around town and even in other places, and well, here. Still waiting on that thin 1/32 wide white tape. But in the meantime, I thought, you know, I'm going to have to determine where the parking places are going to be. And to do that, I really needed to put the buildings back on. So I did. And I got to thinking, you know, I needed to find some territory or some areas. And so one of the things I thought I would do is, I think we're going to have a little grassy area in front of City Hall. Where the two doorways are, of course, will be sidewalks out to the sidewalk. And I haven't defined exactly where that front sidewalk along the street is going to be. But in order to do that, I thought, okay, let's go ahead and take some green paint and identify areas that are going to be grass. And I had to do some drywall compound addition because of some deterioration of some of the foam from the paint. And so you see in front of the firehouse there, it's got a little well, actually that drywall compound isn't dry yet. So when I started to paint where there was going to be grass, it didn't work well. So we got to wait for that drywall compound to dry, and then we'll take the building back off and we'll sand that smooth. But anyway, so I think that's going to look pretty good. I think you know, sidewalks coming out of the building out to the street, and then where the old fire station is, of course, we'll have driveways coming out of the two garage doors there out to the street, and a sidewalk in the middle with some grassy area between the sidewalk and the driveways. At least that's the plan. Well, while I was doing that, while I was doing some green painting, I thought, well, let's define some other areas that are going to be grass. Now, in the downtown area, that's not very much. Most of the downtown is, of course, going to be asphalt or concrete. But along this road here, and along the road out there by those two little industrial buildings, that side road out there, there's going to be grass. So I thought, well, let's just go ahead and paint that green so we can define where the grassy areas are going to be. So everything that's white, like there, those are going to be parking lots, so that's going to be black. And once I get that, I'll get that painted and then get the striping done for parking identifications and so forth. As you see here, we're going to have some grass around behind the open air, the fruit market there, and also behind this little gas station over here. We're going to have some grass. Of course, there'll be parking lot where it's white there still. That's going to be, I haven't decided if I'm going to do gravel or concrete or asphalt there. I don't know. I'm going to play with that a little bit. But then also back over here, you see we're going to have a grass area on the other side, on the hillside over there, in front of the brewery. I don't know why I didn't bring the brewery back out, but the brewery will be right there with the grass behind it, and you see there'll be a grass border in front of it, and then we're going to have grass over there as you're going up the road there. I also did a little more drywall compounding there, so one more sanding episode on that bridge there, and we should be ready to do that road. And you also see that the road now is pretty much completed all the way up to where the crossing is going to be that goes over to the coal mine. So we've been doing some work. And of course there's going to be grass behind the, but next to the bus station there, and along the side of the apartment complex going on around to well, let me go up a little bit, around next to the church there. That'll be grass. And we'll have grass on this hillside here where the road goes down to the train station. That will actually be grass on both sides of the road there, but I'm not sure how far up it's going to come. I'm liking the idea of having that little construction site there, so I still haven't decided what to do with that. And of course then there'll be grass under that bridge. And by the way, this will all be grass on this side of the tracks there too, but I didn't paint that yet. Up here in the, if I can do a smooth transition here, over here in the residential area, you see I've laid out where that road is going to come across, or where that bridge will be coming across to the farm scene there. Haven't got that installed yet, but there'll be grass there, and of course there'll be grass around all of these residences. But I haven't defined that exactly where all that's going to be. I have an addition coming. I was fiddling on eBay last night and happened to place a bid on a car wash, and wow, if I didn't win that car wash, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm thinking it might go somewhere over here, maybe next to the ice cream station, or the ice cream restaurant over there. May jiggle those houses around a little bit. I have to get it and see how much space it's going to take up. But the winning bid was $2. I couldn't pass that up. So I don't know if we'll be able to use it or not, but at that price, I'm willing to take a risk. Well, that's pretty much it for today. One other thing I want to say is that I was trying that little camera for the cab ride, and I just could not get that thing to work. It has an onboard SD, actually a micro SD card, and I was looking for where it was recording. It was not recording on that SD card. I take it out and check it. There was nothing on it. It never had anything on it, and it was not on my cell phone. As I said, I looked in all the files and everything on my cell phone and nothing. But anyway, so I just decided it was not going to work, and I sent it back, asked for a refund. So if anybody knows of a camera that is wireless and is small enough, and by small enough, we're talking 1.5 inches wide. The height is, could be probably about 3 inches, but the width is really what has to be so small. And if anybody knows of anything like that, just give me a comment. Now, speaking of comments, I got a comment again. Actually, I've had several comments, but I got another one yesterday or the day before. A comment of someone mentioned that how much they liked Ron Lawrence's music, and we really appreciate that. It is good stuff, I agree. And yeah, I want to say thanks again to Ron for the music. And Uh, I should get that striping tape to finish the road layout, and I got some more painting on roads to do. Up on going up past the brewery and up into the mountains. Where hopefully we'll get into that, get that done, get the striping done, and hopefully we can then get the rest of that track cleared off and maybe start clean some track and run some trains and get over into working in the yard area. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. It's just whatever I feel like doing, which is a great thing, huh? So let's see what's going to happen.